Good evening, guys. My name is Connor. I am an enrollment advisor for Western Ontario here. I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about Acadia University and the benefits that it has for you. So as I said, Connor graduated in 2019 with a Bachelor of Business Administration with a focus in marketing. So from that, I'm basically marketing Acadia now, which is kind of nice. They trust that their own kind of schooling has got me back to market them as a school themselves. As I said, Western Ontario is kind of my area of expertise, and if you need, that's my email there at the bottom. We also have Claire Bryan on the line, graduated in 2013 with a Bachelor of Business Administration as well. She looks over GTA, Eastern Ontario, and Quebec, and she has the same, there's the email as well. So I'm not too sure if you guys know where Acadia is, but it's located in Wolfville, so just an hour outside Halifax. And Halifax is about a 2-hour flight from Ottawa, 2.5 from Toronto. So in all honesty, it's not very far away. It's a quick flight up and down. I've done it many times. It's nothing to be fret about. I think that's very far away from. I'm not too sure if you guys are familiar with Nova Scotia. Beautiful province. Actually happens to be the second warmest province in all of Canada. We also have 10,000 kilometers of coastline, so the the ocean's all around you, and the furthest you're going to get from the ocean is about 68 kilometers. Halifax itself, as I said, about an hour drive away from Wolfville, where Acadia is located. You can get there with just a $20 bus ride. You can go with friends. It's not far at all. Very easy drive. It's about 6 turns, I'm pretty sure. That might even be over exaggerating it. But there's a huge city vibe here in Halifax. You're from Toronto or Ottawa, those kind of big cities. Same kind of vibe here. A little bit smaller, of course, but there's everything you're looking to do. We have it here in Halifax. And then Wolfville itself. The best way to describe Wolfville is this Jim Byers quote from the National Post. He says it's a town you want to pick up and hug. You know, you try to leave Wolfville, but you just keep coming back. And that's how me and all my coworkers have felt as well, as we all attended Acadia and we keep coming back to the town. As I said, yeah, so Wolfville, 4,200 residents, 15 restaurants. I know you guys are in high school right now. You're going to be turning a fun age pretty soon, so there's a lot of stuff for you guys to do, whether it's restaurants, it's pubs, it's bars. There's also a lot of parks and trails, a lot of famous ones. Cape Split's a huge one. You would look over the kind of the ocean, the basin itself, super nice. But at the same time, it's still just a small area size of 7.3 square kilometers. And if you go down the road about 45 seconds, Acadia University is right there. The population size of Acadia is 3,500 students. So right there, you're essentially doubling the size of the town. So when you're here on campus during the school year, you're gonna see a lot of Acadia students. At the same time, though, you're gonna get to know the locals as well, which is super fun. That it's all kind of all one community. And as I mentioned before, you're never too far from the ocean. This counts too with Wolfville. So 500 meters from the ocean, quick walk down, you're there. Represent 65 countries, but more than that, we represent every province and territory in Canada. So you're going to find someone from basically everywhere you can think of in Canada and almost a lot of countries throughout the world. And with an average class size of 28, you're really going to get to know your classmates and you're really going to get to know your professors as well. As I said, not too far from the ocean. I'm not sure if you guys can see my mouse right now. But yeah, see ocean up here. And then from the very bottom, I'm not sure if you guys can see my mouse, but if not, if you look at the kind of the top left of the screen, there's the field there and the most top part of the campus where the big tower is. I'd say that's about 10-15 minute walk at the very most. And in the kind of middle right there, you got the town as well. It's a very small community. It's very nice though to have it that kind of size, because if you're running late, you don't have to catch a bus or drive somewhere. You can walk there in 10 minutes and be no problem. From experience, I've had 8:30s and I've rolled out of bed at 8:10 and still made it to class, and a little bit early even, on the snowiest days possible. Oh. So yeah, but the programs that we offer here, I know you guys are all interested in this kind of subject matter. So we got 3 faculties, 30 majors, and over 200 degree options. Any kind of degree that you think you might want, we can put it together for you. It's very flexible. I know people are going to have a lot of different interests. A lot of people like to switch their degrees when they're in the middle of university. No one really knows at this kind of age and time and everything. So we were able to help you with that and guide you through and get the classes done that you require to have. So the first one I'll go over is the Faculty of Arts. This is everything, all the languages, the economics, theater, everything you really think of in this kind of faculty here. The Faculty of Arts does a great job working with the community in certain subject matters, such as the theater performs for the whole town itself, not just the school. And there's clubs and everything that people can work with within this faculty. To point on one here, we got the economics, Bachelor of Economics. You can do this with honors with business. One of my really good friends, he did a double major with economics and business, loved it, having a great time with it. You can even do it with science too. So that just kind of shows you that you can do it with three different faculties right there. So pure and applied science, the second faculty, you got your main ones, the biochem, computer science, nutrition. This is a great kind of starting point for you. Engineering as well, as you'll be able to kind of branch off and go to different kind of schoolings after this, grad school, med school. If you want to get a master's program, this is a great start for you. Foundation, small classes to really get to understand the subjects that you're going to learn at our university here. So the Jodrey School of Computer Science has really grown in the past couple of years. We were actually the first one to recognize it. We allow with like mobile computing, game development, software development, a lot of really cool things that they're doing within this this school here, and that we kind of let students kind of find their passion and go and kind of run with it. And last, we got professional studies. So this is what I did, as I said, business administration, yeah, community development, education, kinesiology, and music. A lot of great options, very popular as well. So community development's a huge one. They do a great job working with the community, as it has in the name. They're all about recreation management. They got community wellness, always looking out for Wolfville itself. And it gives you lots of opportunities to kind of check out some different places in the world as well. So the health science option, Acadia has a great, as I said, great kind of base level of getting the proper classes and requirements you need in a small class size to get you to be able to go to further dentistry school or medicine or optometry. Health science advisors should be able to help you go through all this stuff and get you to the way that you need to go. And for general admission guidelines, so you need here is your grade 12 university level English, and then 4 additional grade 12 U or M level courses. And so the minimum overall average is 70%. And unless you're talking about bio or kinesiology, then you will need to 75%. And I'm not going to go through all of these, but there are some specific guidelines for programs. Take kinesiology, for example, you would need math and data management story or advanced functions to be able to get into that, as well as the other courses. And I'm going to hand it off to Claire now to take over.
Hi, everyone. So I'm just going to start off with the nitty gritty. You're probably wondering what it's going to cost to go to university. And as much as you might think it's a lot of money, it's always wonderful to think of it as the investment that it is. So you can see here just the basic costs. We don't actually offer different prices by different provinces, only for Nova Scotia and then everybody else in Canada. You'll see there's a technology fee. There's some fees that you have for the campus as well. And then at the bottom, you can see the residence fees, and those are just the averages based on all of the rooms on campus. But if you do decide to live off campus, of course, you don't need to worry about those fees. But to help you with all of this, we do give away $4 million every year in scholarships, bursaries, financial aid. You're actually automatically assessed once you apply, and if you do have an average over 80, you will get some amount of money, but it is a good idea to always keep your grades up because the higher they are, the more money you can get. We also offer health, counseling, and accessibility services all on campus. Our medical clinic is actually located in the basement of our residences. So you can actually see a doctor 5 days of the week there. You can make an appointment. I know they do flu shot clinics. Hopefully they'll be doing, vaccines for other things soon. But we also have accessible learning services and counseling on campus. For counseling, we have the counseling center with counselors available, again, 5 days out of the week. And then for accessible learning services, as you can see there, we have classroom testing and accommodations, one-on-one meetings, academic support. There's a lot of support from professors. It's great to email disability.access@acadiau.ca. And you do need to submit documentation, but after that's done, it's pretty smooth sailing and we'll get you all the help you need. So one of the programs we like to highlight at Acadia is our co-op program. We have one of the highest ranked co-op programs in the country. And it's offered in 80% of our programs, so most of them. The average earnings is $10,000 per work term, but basically what it is practical work experience in the field that you want to work in, where you earn money, and then you end up with a whole year of experience when you graduate. We also offer an exchange program. We have partner schools in 13 other countries. So if travel is kind of what you're interested in, it's a great opportunity for you. And the bonus, of course, is that you get to only pay Acadia's fees instead of international fees. And now for just like some campus life, residences. We have 11 residence buildings on campus. So there's literally a place for everybody, and every building has its own kind of unique personality. So there is a spot for everyone. And you are guaranteed residence all 4 years if you want it, especially in first year. It's great to know that you can move out of province and have a place to go no matter what. And if you do live in residence, you are required to have a meal plan because our residences aren't equipped for students to be cooking for themselves all the time. But if you do love to cook, there's a section here. This one's actually called My Pantry. And it's basically a full kitchen setup. There's prepped food in the fridges here, and you can cook for yourself. So that's what's really great. The dining hall is open like pretty long hours every day, and then it's an unlimited meal plan. So you can go in 15 times a day, 3 times a day, as many times as you want, and it'll all cost the same. And it's eat as much as you want as well. And also there are 80 plus ways to get involved on campus. I think over 80% of our student population does volunteer in some way, and you'll find it's really hard to get through your 4 years without doing some kind of volunteer efforts. There's everything you can think of. There's different clubs, societies, volunteer opportunities, anything you can think of will get you started with it. And of course, there's athletics. We do have 11 varsity teams. And with your student card, you actually get access to all of those if you're not playing on the team. But there's also, recreational sports as well. So there's intramurals and then club teams, depending on how competitive you are and how much time you want to dedicate to it. So although we are in COVID times, if you do have the opportunity, we would love to have you come visit. So if that is a possibility for you in the future, please email our tourist coordinator, Leah Vassell. And if you are able to come visit us, keep your receipts. If you do end up joining us in September, we will refund you one way of travel. And so apply today, you can. Our application opened a couple weeks ago. All we need is completed application form. And since obviously this is all online now, it's pretty easy. We need an up-to-date transcript and then just whatever courses you are taking this year. And a few upcoming important dates to note. There is an admissions info session on October 29th. So if you do have some kind of burning questions about admissions, that's the session to go to. We did run a residence and meal plan info session last night, but we do have another one coming up in November. So you can mark that date on there. It'll talk more about how to apply for residence and all your options. There's a scholarships info session on November 4th. And then we are going to be doing a virtual open house in November. So keep an eye out for that. You can always follow along with us. We're getting pretty good at our social media streams, so you can definitely follow along. and join the Acadia family today. So if you have any questions, we'd love to answer them for you now. So if you'd like to just put them in the chat box, we'd be happy to answer any of them. Maybe we should start with just a bit about the admissions process as well. So for anyone interested, because you attended this event tonight, we will waive the application fee. And I know it gets a little confusing because it asks you to put your credit card information in, but if you kind of just bypass that section, our system will link it so that you don't have to pay. And it'll just kind of waive the fee for you. So you can get the application in. And I think the turnaround time is usually 3 business days. So you'll get to know very quickly. Are there any questions for us? Connor, what kind of activities were you involved in when you were at Acadia?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, so I was involved in a lot of things. Intramurals was a huge part of kind of my university process. Sadly, was not good enough to play on any real teams, but that's all right because I still made a lot of friends. I had a lot of good memories in the intramurals. Any sport you're looking for, soccer, hockey, basketball, whatever you're looking for, it's there. I was part of the Smile program, which is very similar to Best Buddies you have there in Ontario. It's an awesome time, very rewarding. Did that every Friday morning for 2 years. Lots of fun. Other than that, I was in the Business Society. Had a great time there, made a lot of friends, a lot of things you wouldn't kind of do in any other school or any other environment, really. So yeah, there's anything you're really looking for or any kind of interest you have, we have it for you. And if we don't have it, then we can make it for you. We can make a club for you, no problem at all.
Thank you. We do have a question from Olivia. She says, are the scholarships for marks above 80% offered to out-of-province students as well? And yes, they are. There's very few scholarships that are more specific to location. They're mostly awarded, based on merit. And there are, of course, scholarships based on need, but generally speaking, they're not based on where you live. And Jamie would like to know, can you talk a bit more about the exchange program? I actually can. I did the exchange program. Mine was a little bit different because I was a German major with my business degree. So I was required to do an exchange to Germany. So I went for a full year. But with our general exchange program through the university, you can go for a semester or 2. You could choose where you get to go. You just kind of have to apply. You have to have a certain GPA. I think it's, well, I'll find out what it is, but as long as you have the GPA and you get accepted there, it's no problem at all. You just pay Acadia's fees, which is nice because international fees can get fairly steep, and the credits will transfer over as well. What type of student clubs are there? I mean, what aren't there? Honor, do you want to name some examples?
Yeah, I was just about to jump in. I mean, whatever subject you're into, Anonymous, we have a club for you in that kind of setting. If you're looking for engineering, we got an engineering club. If you're looking for juggling, we got a juggling club. I mean, any kind of club that you want or any interest you have, I can almost guarantee it's there. And if we don't have it, then we can give you the funds to make that kind of club. So if you even just one other person or even just you by yourself want to start a club and get people interested in that, it's no problem at all. So anything that you're interested in, we have it or we can make it happen for you, no problem at all.
Yeah, and that's a good point to note that there are societies. You'll find almost every program on campus has their own society. So there's like the biology society, there's a business society. And they're not just academic, they're usually, with your academic peers, but they're usually social events and events for fun. So the next question is, are there any environmentally focused volunteer opportunities? Definitely. We have the Acadia Farm that I know a lot of students volunteer on, and you can do that. So that's located just slightly off campus, but we grow as much as we can. You can always volunteer at the farmers market in town. It's huge in Wolfville. It's one of the highlights of the week. Can you think of any others, Connor?
I was going to note that I'm not sure the exact club it was, but a lot of the food goes right back into meal hall, which is pretty cool. So the kind of work, the volunteering you do there kind of goes right back into the student body, which is pretty neat. Other than that, same kind of thing. Acadia is very environmentally friendly, so there's a lot of clubs that are open for that kind of subject matter.
Great. Next question says, if either of you are out of province, how was the transition to school in Nova Scotia? Well, that's a question for me because Connor's from Halifax. I come from Peterborough, Ontario, so I know exactly the transition you're going to be going through. I was actually a very shy person, so my entire family was shocked when I said I was coming out here. Obviously, I blossomed in university. It's a little difficult in the sense that you're 2 provinces away, but honestly, I didn't feel like I was that far away. I still got to go home for Christmas. You can still talk to your family all the time, especially with modern technology. And I made a lot of really great friends here who had family locally, so I always felt like I was at home. And that's kind of leads back into Wolfville and how it's just a very homey spot. And I never felt out of place or like I shouldn't have been there. It just always feels very comfortable. And especially with the travel time, you have like a 2-hour flight, but you could go to a school in Ontario and be driving for much, much longer than that. So it's kind of all relative. And if you can afford the cost of flights or even just doing the drive out in the summer, there's not much difference at all. Next question says, you mentioned that the minimum average to admission is 70%. I'm wondering what the typical average is for acceptance. Well, last year, the average was 85, the average of the averages, if that makes sense. So although the admissions requirements are, they seem lower, we do still attract a high caliber student. Yeah, so don't worry about that. We're not lowballing it. It's just to kind of let everybody study what they want to study. What were the 2 math courses required for the kinesiology program?
I got that one. That's it's either like advanced functions. Oops, sorry. Advanced functions or math of data management. Those would be the ones. So it's one or the other.
Yeah. So if functions isn't your thing, you can get away with math of data management, which is nice. The next question is, can I get involved in the theater groups if I'm not enrolled in the theater program? Absolutely. Yeah, that's what's really great about Acadia. You don't even have to be in the program to participate. So in the same way that you could enter a society if you're not in that major, you can do the same thing with theater groups. They completely welcome students who aren't in theater. They want fresh blood. So you can.
I can vouch for them. I never been to anything theater my entire life. Went to one in my 3rd or 4th year, and it was extremely well done. Very cool.
What is off-campus housing like? Good question. Connor, you want to talk about yours?
Yeah, I can do that. So my 3rd and 4th years, I lived off campus, and in a way, it's kind of the same as residence in the fact that there's a lot of different options that you can find for yourself. If you find a couple friends you want to live with, there's going to be houses open for you to take over, no problem. If you want to live by yourself, there's tons of options for that as well. If you want to get 2 people, no worries there. It's nice too because it's very, very well priced. I'm sure you guys are I'm sure none of you live alone right now, very few of you do, but the pricing compared to Ontario to here is much nicer in our favor. So, and you still kind of, what am I trying to say here? You kind of have a lot of good memories in these houses too. So it's worth it to move off campus for at least a year, I'd say.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I only lived off campus for 1 year, but I loved it. And yeah, I will say it's very affordable. Everything is super close. That's what's kind of really nice. You saw kind of the overhead map of where town was and where the school was. Everything's within 10 to 15 minute walk. and mostly flat unless you are kind of up the hill a little bit. But again, there's so many options, and obviously it is a lot more inexpensive if you live with several people, and there are tons of houses too that you can just, like, you get the whole house and there's like 6 of you. But whatever you're kind of looking for, yeah, you can find it.
And the thing too is that there's always students graduating, so there's always going to be houses available year after year, so it's not a very stressful time, I find, to find a house or anything.
Yeah, and I will say the caliber is nicer than certain places I've seen in certain Ontario cities. Where maybe my siblings went to school, maybe. Won't be naming them, but they are nicer than that. Are there any other questions? Okay, so thank you so much for joining us tonight. Like I said, if you want to apply, it is completely free because you attended this event. So we definitely encourage you to do so. It's literally risk-free. If you have any questions, you can absolutely contact us. I'm just going to type our emails into the box here. And you can contact us at any time if you have any questions. But thank you very much for joining us, and we hope to hear from you.
Thanks, guys.